What's up, everyone? Welcome to a best of 7 in the top right corner of Hardwire. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Zest. And in the bottom left, it's his opponent, the Gilded Alpha X player, Astrea. Max Angel going up for another Alpha X show match series. It's going to be Forge first from Zest. I've seen him cannon rush a few games recently, but it's never worked out for him. Is it going to be different here this evening? Most recently, ESL Open Cup Asia last week, he tried to do a cannon rush. Didn't quite pan out, but we'll see how it works against Astrea. He is committing pylon in between the gases. Very aggressively positioned in Astrea's base. He's got 2 up now. Okay, it looks like he's going to drop the first cannon back here somewhere. He's going straight through the mineral line. That's very dangerous. Astrea could have pulled probes off the line and gotten a ton of damage on Zest. Attacking probe drops a gateway. Throws down 2 more pylons, but still no cannons. GG is called. Zest cannon rush just not working out, man. There's nothing more to it. And that was an interesting game number 1 for sure. Astrea not scouting too much, nor is Zest. He sees that Astrea wants to expand. Both players going double stalker, which should signal some aggression, but I think Zest might be going for stalkers 3 and 4. While Astrea shifts into sentries or add-ups. Yep, there's the double sentry from Astrea. He should be playing very defensively over the next couple of minutes, but he's actually going to bluff us out. He's going to attack with his initial 2 stalkers, and that's not going to go the best for him because Zest has decided to open for stalker himself. Down goes the pylon. And Zest is going to bully these away with even just his first 2 stalkers because first volley whiffed for Astrea, and now Zest is going to feel very confident going on the attack. This looks like a tiny amount of hull damage. You're like, oh man, this is not that big a deal. You know, Zest is totally going to be held off by Astrea, but this is actually a lot. The shields are still depleted from the initial engagement, and that stalker might have otherwise survived until the shield battery finished, making this a lot stronger for Astrea. Astrea might lose a couple of these sentries now, and this is very dangerous for a red Protoss and is going to put him at a disadvantage moving into the mid-game, at the very least. That is, if Zest doesn't somehow manage to shut this base down. That's not going to happen. He's not committing any more reinforcements. He is going for Blink back home instead, so that's probably going to signal the next wave of attack. Astrea has to back out for now. We'll be able to re-engage once this Nexus finishes. Shield battery overcharge is now an option, but he loses the shield battery. Oh no. Astrea, hesitating to defend his own territory, is bullied up the ramp. Zest has 4 more stalkers on delivery. His own sentry is going to be ferried to the front. Astrea getting up a fresh shield battery, but I'm not sure it's going to be enough. The Immortal here is the centerpiece of the Red Army. Zest doesn't have to engage at this location, though. He can hallucinate a Phoenix and hop into the main if he so chooses. A nice, juicy Artosis pylon here. Another Artosis pylon over to the left could leave Astrea very vulnerable. With just 5 or 6 stalker volleys, Astrea could be left without production. Zest is choosing to split his forces. 2 Adepts shading into the natural to occupy Astrea. There's the hallucinated Phoenix. Blink into the main, but Astrea is counter-splitting. Unfortunately, even with the Immortal here, it's not enough, so Astrea is going to have to pull some probes and will take some losses. This is going to put Zest ahead 2 workers, or about 5% bigger economy than Astrea. Zest getting out his own immortal. That apocalyptic scenario I was talking about where the Artosis pylon dies didn't happen. But again, it costs Astrea a couple workers, some lost mining time. This hallucinated Phoenix actually isn't scouting anything. Okay, Zest sends it into the natural. He's just going to check the composition of Astrea's army, check the tech, sees the Forge, sees the Twilight, sees the Robo, all whirring away at their various production activities. +1 Blink and a Prism are going to be here sooner than later for Astrea. Zest just working on +1 and a Prism. Got the 3rd Nexus on the way as well. Astrea is going to be struggling to catch up in economy for some time. He's got to make something happen with this army, but he can't really. This is a lot of injured stalkers, and Zest's army is just straight up bigger. He has to catch a couple stray units out on their lonesome, kill them off, and then engage the main force, but Zest is the one who's going to be catching cut-off units of Astrea's army, sniping them down. Astrea has to hesitate before thinking about attacking Zest 3rd. Zest knows he was scouted, so he wants to assume the defense in this coming engagement. Astrea probably isn't actually going to attack, especially with this hallucinated Phoenix Scout on the position. He should just back out right away. Oh man, he hesitates, and that means Zest is going to be able to blink to the high ground, snipes the Immortal, snipes all of the key units of Astrea. These force fields are going to expire very soon, and that means the Immortal of Zest is going to be moving up. Army supplies are pretty even right now. Astrea, striking with double adept in the natural, is going to take out a couple of probes, makes it into the main. One of the adepts dying instantly to the cannon Immortal, and this will gum up the works for Zest's reinforcements. Now, Astrea's army supply looks okay, right? This looks comparable until you remember that Zest has multiple Immortals on the field. He's got sentries that have a healthy amount of energy, not the most energy, but a healthy amount, and is going to be able to sustain a counter push against Astrea. Astrea has been probing harder than Zest. Zest hasn't really lost probes this game. He's lost like 3 or 4 total. But Astrea has been spending the extra probe money despite Zest's earlier 3rd base timing. So is far ahead in economy. If he can just hold the line, he should be able to leapfrog Zest in army supply, especially with 4 more gates finishing up for Zest. He's going to be doing a warp in, and if Astrea holds it off, he can turn the equilibrium of the fight in his favor. This Disruptor, the centerpiece of Astrea's army, is going to get picked off before the Nova can connect, and these 2 Immortals in the back are just going to give Astrea a pounding. Fresh Disruptor should be spinning down the ramp from the main, but Zest is moving farther and farther away from that onrushing Disruptor, catching these very injured Stalkers in a corner, sniping down the shield battery. Here comes the Disruptor into the fight. Finally, it goes after the Immortals and dies. GG. Zest evens the score 1-1. Zest really putting the pressure on Astrea last game. Astrea got stuck in a corner and couldn't seem to back out of it. I mean, it was a bold move to see your opponent made 2 Stalkers, only open 2 Stalkers yourself, go Sentry and expand after that, and then just like still think that you're going to be able to attack. That was a bold play for Astrea, very risky, and it didn't pay off for him. Literally, that first Stalker getting injured is what led to the rest of the events of the game. Astrea Probably going to be playing more carefully here on map number 3. Curious Minds isn't the biggest map in the pool, not by a long shot. Only 6 bases apiece for our players. Stargate drop by Zest. Right in the wall. Astrea has scouted it. I would love to see a Phoenix battle between these two, but I don't think that's going to happen this game. We have a shield battery in the natural from Astrea, and just like I said, it's going to be a... Oh, wait a second. Hold up. That's a shield battery in the natural from Zest. He's got a pylon in the wall. This is a very aggro play from Zest. Totally missed the Zealot walking across the map. An Adept coming behind this to back up the push. The shield battery will finish the probes. Stop attacking the on-rushing forces of Zest. But as impressive, as flashy as this looks, Astrea is going to hold it off pretty easily. Zest's next wave of attack is Oracle. So Zest, in 2 out of... Well, actually, in all 3 maps we've seen so far tonight, is taking the tactic of pinning Astrea back against the wall. He wants Astrea to be playing Zest's game. He wants Astrea to be walking at the pace that Zest wants him to walk. He's got like a gun to the back of Astrea's head, and he's like, okay, left, right, left, right, left, right. And Astrea has to march in lockstep. He has to play almost a Zerg style against Zest, because Zest is just being so aggressive. Astrea has to be reactive. And if we see Zest play this way 3 times in a row, I think we're going to see it throughout this entire 7-game series. Proxy Dark Shrine coming out from Zest, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Usually you'd be expecting Astrea to throw down the first Dark Shrine, but Zest is best. And he's going to produce our first Dark Shrine of this series. Astrea isn't far behind. So he did have that idea for this game, but it's going to be pink Invisible Men before we see orange. Forge finishing up for Zest, probably going to start +1 weapons soon, but this can also be used to deploy a cannon if Astrea is able to get DTs on Zest's side of the map. Here we go. The first 3 warping in at the proxy. Zest is going to ignore the 3rd. He's not going to go for the Nexus snipe. He's heading straight for the natural. A robo is in production for Astrea, but it's not here just yet. Oh man, Zest goes to the snipe on the robo, and that's gonna be GG. Man, me and my buddy Sephiron were going over some DreamHack Last Chance highlights, mostly EU casts last night, and Blackbird gave us like multiple 40-minute games. It was so good. Astrea starting out with a proxy 2-gate. This has been an extremely scrappy best of 7 between our 2 competitors this evening. Everyone, yeah, it's like a knife fight. I feel like I'm watching ZVZ. It's like a knife fight in a closet. No lights on. Zest is getting a forge! Oh my god. He doesn't know about the proxy, by the way. He doesn't know. Is this going to be a cannon rush against the proxy 2-gate? Is that what we're about to see? He sees no gates in the main of Astrea. Gas steal goes off for Zest. Astrea has yet to produce any zealots at the proxy. Oh my god. Why is he not producing units? Is he waiting for the cyber core to finish? Is he going stalkers? Astrea takes the gold. I don't know, guys. I don't know how this goes. I don't know what happens from here. Zest could conceivably cannon rush the gold base if he figures out about it. He's got to be sus. Again, he doesn't have vision over the proxy. So he doesn't know why there's no buildings in the main of Astrea. He doesn't know if he's being cannon rushed. He doesn't know if there's gates out on the map. He doesn't know if it's a proxy robo. All he sees is a cyber core, and he will scout the gold base. Is he going to cannon rush it? He's rallying behind the gold mineral line. Oh no, Astrea just starting up units at the proxy, and the pylon is under fire. He will get one stalker out, but he has no high ground vision to actually engage Zest stalker. And this is going to be both initial production buildings of Astrea shut down. Second stalker, scouts behind the gold. No cannon rush ever came out from Zest. Fresh pylon down for Astrea. I gotta say, I'm liking Zest's position a lot better than Astrea's right now. You can see that Warp Gate has finished for his opponent. The gas steal will tie down one stalker. Astrea taking a gas at the gold base. Zest going for +1 along with Blink. So it looks like Zest is going to play very patiently. He's going to wait for Blink. He's going to wait for +1. And then he's going to launch an all-out attack against Astrea. And he's just going to let Astrea have this gold base economy. Is that a wise decision? Well, we're going to find out soon. That's a mind game from Zest, I think, hallucinating the Oracle. I think he wants Astrea to believe that was a real Oracle, so Astrea thinks he's going Stargate, but Astrea does scout all the tech, sees the Twilight blinking, sees the Forge whirring, sees additional gates warping in, and that ruse is going to be stopped in its tracks. Oh no! Oh no, 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 no! Does he have this calculated? Is this calculated? Or is he gonna kill it before +1 finishes? He's trying to unseal the wall here. Okay, okay, he's gonna switch to the gateway. Blink finishes. That was, alright, alright. The sentries are gonna finish that off. But this is really cool. So Astrea has 3 gates on the field. 2 of them were just depowered. That's really bad. Astrea actually can't make units to defend himself. He's starting up 2 fresh gates at home. But this is it. This is the army of Astrea. It's bigger than Zest right now. If it dies, these units are irreplaceable. Oh, man. I feel like I feel like Zest really needs to attack this gold base. He's just letting Astrea have it. I thought he was going to go for a big play when Blink finished, and he just didn't. He just didn't commit to it. He's even letting Astrea repower the proxy gates. I mean, you can't blame Astrea for repowering them. Like, that's just the play, if your opponent lets you, that you make. Okay, he finally moves back in. He will shut these guys down. Not before Astrea gets a fresh warp in. Disruptor is the tech of choice for Zest. Astrea getting a prism. Multiple proxies have been placed. Astrea really prepping to get aggressive against Zest. Very nice vision out on the map for our blue Protoss. It's going to be able to see pretty much any angle Zest chooses to attack from. Zest finally deleting the proxy at the 8-minute mark. Astrea's ready to go on the offensive. It will all come down to how well Zest places his disruptor connections. Blink expended for Astrea's entire army. That means Zest has a lot more micro potential right now, which is why he's engaging from the low grounds. Astrea is very hesitant to move in. He has to blink on top of the disruptors. He sees Zest pull to the right. I think he was moving in for a snipe. But Zest responds too quickly. There's the move forward. 2 disruptors dead. No connections go off. The 3rd disruptor spins back to safety. Zest taking the worst of the trades so far. The Immortal falls. Zest putting the pressure on Astrea, but unable to break the siege. Astrea has taken a 4th Nexus behind his push. I'm very worried Zest did not play aggressively enough at the start of this game. He just let Astrea have the gold, and this is the consequence of letting Astrea get that massive economy so early for no consequence. This warp in is keeping a lot of reinforcements for Zest in check. Zest, though, blinking into Astrea. Is this a trap, though? He's caught in the slow zones. Okay, Astrea doesn't push the issue. I think he could have won that fight, maybe gotten a couple more stalker kills, but Astrea choosing to play it safe. He doesn't really need to pressure Zest. He has the bigger war engine behind him, so all he has to do is keep Zest contained. He doesn't need to move in for the kill, and it can be super dangerous, as you just saw there. Big disruptor connections finally going off for Zest. That's exactly what our red Protoss needed. Dark Shrine finishing for Astrea, +3 weapons in development. Zest senses blood in the water. This is his moment. Finally, he can push Astrea away from the contain. Finally, he can go take out this gold base. Depowers the Robo. The Baja Blast Dispenser making these probes quite tanky. They will absorb a lot of soccer fire, but Astrea is still unable to engage thanks to the 4 disruptors. The gold base has died at the 12-minute mark. Astrea still on 4 Nexus behind this, but Zest's own gold is starting to take off. Just as I say that, some Max Angel DTs carve into the gold base probes. Another decent connection for Zest. Might have put Astrea below the tipping point, and Zest is looking like he's about to take out the third of Astrea. Now, Zest is only on 23 probes behind this, so he's very all in. But if he takes out this 4th base, I think he can recover. Like, he can just leave. Furthermore, he's up 20 army supply, so Astrea has to get supply on the field to be able to challenge his army, or it's not going to matter that his opponent has no economy. Astrea successfully defends the base. Zest needs to get an obs here with the Zealots, and he will be able to save his gold. This is the path to recovery for Zest. He is really hurting for workers. He's got to transfer some of these guys, get this mining operation off the ground, because Astrea is still doing A-okay. Over 50 workers, able to recover quite quickly from Zest's excellent trades in the past few engagements, and begin sieging up the gold of Zest. Zest losing even more probes. Astrea trying to make a prism play, but Zest denying it with a hit squad of stalkers. Where are these guys going to try and strike? It looks like they're going to the natural, but defensive warp in from Astrea will catch these guys out. Between hammer and anvil, if they're not careful, Zest should be able to save 2 or 3 of these stalkers. Astrea trying to run in a DT is going to get repelled by Zest. Zest blinks in to defend gold. He needs to get this saturated and not have the probes die instantly, or this is just going to end up being a disaster for him. Astrea charges down the ramp, but the Zealots are cut off from the Stalkers. They can't make it through the force fields, and that means the Zealots are going to die ahead of the rest of Astrea's army. This is a much more even fight than it was a few moments ago, but many of Zest's units are battle weary. A lot of hull damage on the Red Protoss's army, and the fight is happening on his side of the map, which means he's going to be taking chip damage. A probe or 2 is going to be getting sniped down at a time as Astrea continues the attack, continues the assault, continues the siege. The Stalker's getting cut down in the back. Blink is off cooldown for most of them right now. Disruptor shot comes forward, and Astrea moves into it. Second disruptor shot to the side. Zest's army was so much tinier than that of Astrea, but Zest is back in this game. Blinks to the high ground. GG! Zest goes up 3-1 against Astrea in this best of 7. No one making any surprise moves this game. This is the most normal game we've seen so far. Twilight opener from Zest. Stargate from Astrea. No shield batteries in the wall. No proxies out on the map. Just a good old Stargate versus Twilight gentleman's game of PvP. I guess I lied. There is a proxy pylon out on the map, but we don't need to worry about that for now. Zest opening double stalker, as is Astrea. Oracle first. 4 are orange toss. Zest. Moving in. Oh, okay. You know, I'm like, it's a gentleman's game, guys. These two are respecting each other. They want to play a macro game. They want to make this an hour-long game. No, Zest is like, I'll give you 6 minutes tops. He's going to drop a proxy very aggressively outside Astrea's base, and this can mean only one thing. We're going to see some shield batteries. We're seeing a very aggressively placed forward gateway, scouted by the Oracle. Astrea does not have the units he needs to sally forth and shut this down. Zest drops the shield battery. More and more stalkers reinforcing at the front. 4 are pink Protoss. Cybercore under heavy attack. This is a very bad building for Astrea to lose. He's going to be confined to basically Void Rays once it falls, and it will fall at this point. Cannons are going to be the next line of defense. 4 are orange toss. The shield battery to the left will die. A fresh one finishing up back in the pocket. Zest going to take out the lone warp gate that Astrea has on the field. Third. Well, is he going to do it? Okay, third Void Ray finishes up. Zest has lost interest in the gateway. I think that was an accident. Oh, he recalled the Oracle. Okay. Astrea's still ahead 8 workers. Like, if he holds on, it could be good, but this isn't... I don't know if he can hold on. Stasis Ward does make it, despite taking a hefty amount of damage. Astrea is trying to reclaim ground in his base, continuing only Void Ray production. I've been waiting for this probe to do something. Drop a proxy pylon, get a couple of depths to harass Zest, do something to take attention away from the siege, but Zest, a while back, got himself a sentry at the proxy, is going to hallucinate a Phoenix, and will blink into the main. Astrea preempted this by putting down a couple cannons and a shield battery in his main. Unfortunately, there's enough stalkers to one-shot Void Rays at the start of the engagement, but fortunately, Astrea just has enough after pulling the boys, and Astrea puts a second point on the board. Zest. Tasting defeat for the first time in a while. She write off game number 1 because that was... I was like, I don't know what that cannon rush is supposed to be, but Astrea really bopping Zest on the nose in the last map, really making him feel defeat. What's he going to do? What's he going to switch up in his play style? Is he going to play less aggressively, like he did in map number 4? Or is he going to stick to the style of constantly being in Astrea's face? Pylon in the mineral line is really annoying. You can see this probe is trapped here. This mineral patch is totally unmineable when you do this. This is actually an old Brood War trick. It's really hard to do, though. I mean, as you can see, you got a very small window of time. You have to wait. This probe goes in, and you drop it. This probe goes in, you drop the pylon. If you're even, like, a fraction of a second off, it doesn't work. Fun fact, this oversaturation thing that we're seeing in the main was developed by AlphaStar. So AlphaStar was an AI from Google that studied the game of StarCraft and tried to beat the best players. And eventually they, like, you know, threw Cyril on not his own keyboard, not his own map. And they're like, hey, or not his own mouse. And they're like, hey, guys, our AI can beat Cyril. And then they descended into the heavens. And they're like, no more StarCraft for AlphaStar. But something AlphaStar would do that players didn't do at the time is stack the extra probes on minerals before transferring them to the natural. It used to be very common to just long distance mine from your natural, but AlphaStar changing the meta forever. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Zest, with a kind of abortive attack from these initial 2 stalkers, is going to get them knocked into the red. Oracle moves forward, burns down a whole stalker. What a Chad Oracle, man. Oh my god. And now it's going to kill the probes too. Does it get a second one? No, it doesn't get a second one. It just ran out of energy. It just ran out of power. You give that thing unlimited energy, it'll kill the whole Nexus. It's a scary Oracle. So, Zest Virgin Stalkers versus Chad Oracle. Astrea is finally going to get an aggressive Dark Shrine down. The DT play is going to be real from our red Protoss. Many of my Protoss friends consider Astrea's DTs a league above the rest. He seems to have great intuition for knowing exactly how to finesse DTs into an opponent that even has observers out. Just skirt the observers, get into the mineral lines, deal 15 probes of damage, and get out. Is that what we're going to see this game? Well, Astrea's going for a third here as well. Zest proxying a gateway, getting up a shield battery, and doing a loose variation on what we saw last map. Zest threatening the natural with double Oracle as well. He is going to go in with the Oracles first, pull the army away, and then we should see the Stalkers attack the third. Astrea's gotten his first DT. We'll be slow walking it across the map. Robo finishing up for our red player as well. Zest does not have a Robo, so he's going to be relying on Oracles for Revelation, but he just expended a lot of energy, so that Revelation doesn't exist. Yeah, he has the Revelation on the Stalkers instead. We'll get the shutdown on the third base, but here comes Astrea's DT into the natural of Zest. First couple probes start falling. Zest is just going to throw his Stalkers into the natural, but there's DTs here too. And there's no detection for our blue player. Zest briefly starts resonating glaives before canceling and going into another Oracle instead. There's one Revelation. Will potentially shut down one DT. Oh no, is it going to live? If he had kept running, the DT would have lived, but Astrea does let that DT get sacked. Astrea is reestablishing his third base. Both players going for some impressive plays, but I think Zest is still ahead overall because I don't think Zest is going to sit back. I think Zest is going to go to his proxy once more and continue pressuring Astrea's third. If Zest sits back, I give the edge to Astrea because he's just got so many freaking probes. Oh no. Zest can blink down the Immortal very quickly if he needs to. He's got a very he's got a critical mass of Stalkers. Yep. Immortal caught out of position. Down goes the Immortal. Down goes the Sentry. It's just Stalkers to defend from Astrea, and the third base is overrun once again. Shadow Stride in development for our red Protoss. Now, I'd expect Astrea to stay in this game longer than he otherwise would if Zest is able to snipe down the third, because he has Shadow Stride in the back and because this is match point. Yeah, Astrea is not going to tap out, even though this is a very devastating play from Zest. He's going to risk it all on the Shadow Stride DTs. Zest going into the main with double Oracle. He is going to take out all the shield battery energy, an entire Stalker, and a large chunk of Astrea's economy. Here come the DT. Shadow Stride is about to finish. Baja Blast Dispenser is whirring up. Zest isn't going to sacrifice too many of his Stalkers, though. Astrea calmly redrops the third. Templar Archives down for Zest. Charge in development, +1 under research. And Astrea has a long, difficult path back into this game. He does still have Shadow Stride DTs in his back pocket. He needs to find a soft target, take it down. He can blink onto this cannon, annihilate it pretty quickly. Zest only has one observer, but it is positioned over his third right now. Zest moving out on the map. Once Astrea scouts this, that's the time to strike with his DTs. One of Astrea's observers blinked down by Zest. Zest tearing into the third base of Astrea. Astrea pulls the probes to go into battle. The blink DTs strike, but it's not going to be enough for Astrea. Zest claims victory in this best-of-7 show match, ending the series 4-2.